Have you ever left a gathering or a home feeling drained, unappreciated, or emotionally exhausted? As we grow older, we begin to realize just how precious our time, energy, and peace truly are. Yet, many of us still find ourselves in situations where we feel unwanted, disrespected, or even used. But what if I told you that avoiding these places and people could be the key to living a more peaceful, fulfilling life? In this video, I'll share with you the 7 types of homes you should stop visiting in your later years. By the end, you'll understand why protecting your peace is just as important as protecting your health. You'll learn how to identify those toxic spaces and relationships that drain you, and how choosing to walk away is not an act of cruelty but an act of self-respect. You deserve to be surrounded by people who uplift you, respect your boundaries, and cherish your presence. I'll show you how to set those boundaries, take control of your environment, and reclaim the peace that you've earned. Stay with me until the end to discover how these simple changes can lead to a more joyful and peaceful life, full of meaningful connections and free from negativity. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Number 1. The home where you are not genuinely welcome. There are few experiences in life more painful and humiliating than finding yourself in a space where you're not truly wanted. It's not just the feeling of being ignored, but the quiet, invisible weight that settles over you as soon as you walk in. It's the small, subtle signs. The way the atmosphere shifts when you enter, the barely noticeable sighs that escape as if your presence is somehow burdensome. You might hear the coldness in their voice, feel the chill in their eyes, or notice the awkwardness of their greetings. The lack of enthusiasm when you arrive can leave you with an uncomfortable lump in your throat, as if you're intruding. These signs, whether big or small, make it glaringly obvious that you're not wanted, that your presence is neither anticipated nor appreciated. Even the conversations feel forced and shallow. The small talk is painfully mechanical, with no effort to engage or connect. You can tell that every word spoken is just another obligation, another moment of polite society that neither side is invested in. You might even be asked how you're doing, but there's a hollow emptiness behind the question, a kind of casual politeness that isn't backed by genuine interest. It's as though they're just waiting for you to leave, like your presence is simply a box to check off before they can go back to whatever they were doing before you showed up. As we grow older, this kind of treatment becomes even more noticeable and, dare I say, even more intolerable. When we are younger, we might put up with these types of situations because we don't want to rock the boat or because we feel we should just grin and bear it. But as time passes, we learn that our time is far too precious to waste in spaces where we are not truly valued. We come to realize that we shouldn't have to convince others to care about us. Genuine relationships, whether with family, friends, or anyone else, should be based on mutual respect and appreciation. If you ever find yourself in a place where you're nothing more than an afterthought, where you feel more like a duty than an honored guest, it's time to reevaluate whether that place should remain in your life. The painful truth is that there will always be people who make you feel like an obligation, but that doesn't mean you should keep giving them access to your time, your energy, or your heart. You deserve to be somewhere that makes you feel at ease, where you are welcomed with open arms and loved simply for being you. People who are happy to see you, who find joy in your company, and who make you feel like you belong. I can't help but think of the importance of cultivating relationships that nourish us rather than drain us. No one should ever be made to feel like they're a burden, especially not by those who are supposed to be the closest to us. Life is far too short to give space in your heart to those who don't recognize the value of your presence. When you walk into a room, your worth should be evident in the way others greet you, the way they smile when they see you, and the way they lean in to hear what you have to say. You should feel respected and loved, not tolerated and ignored. So, if you ever feel that sense of heaviness, that quiet but unmistakable indication that you're not truly wanted. Don't waste your energy trying to change things. Don't convince yourself that you're the one who should adjust or lower your standards. Instead, step back, take a breath, and trust that your time is valuable enough to be spent elsewhere, somewhere you are truly wanted, where you are seen, appreciated, and loved. When you find those spaces, those people who make you feel like you matter, who accept you without hesitation and love you without pretense, hold on to them fiercely. Because at the end of the day, we all deserve to be in homes, both literal and metaphorical, where we are embraced, cherished, and welcomed with open hearts. And when you find that, don't let go of anything. Number 2. The home where drama and negativity rule. Some people seem to thrive on drama, as though it's the very thing that fuels their lives. Their homes, unfortunately, become breeding grounds for constant emotional turbulence, where arguments, harsh words, and complaints are as common as breathing. Every conversation feels like a battle, and the constant shifting of moods leaves you walking on eggshells. There's no peace, no quiet, no sense of calm, just a steady stream of negativity cutting through the air like a razor. And it's not just the big blow-ups that drain you. It's the constant low hum of tension that lingers even in the quiet moments. You can feel it, the unspoken judgments, the gossip that colors every interaction, the constant undermining of one another. It's as if the home itself becomes a pressure cooker, and the longer you stay, the more your emotions start to simmer, boil, and ultimately collapse. Every time you walk into one of these homes, you leave feeling like you've just been through an emotional war zone. Instead of feeling refreshed or uplifted, you find yourself completely exhausted, drained of energy, and emotionally scarred from the invisible wounds that such an environment leaves behind. Even though you may have gone in with good intentions, hoping to spend time with loved ones or catch up on old memories, you can't escape the reality that these homes don't offer sanctuary. They offer stress, anxiety, and tension. The constant underlying friction takes its toll. Slowly but surely, the emotional baggage piles up until you feel like you're carrying a weight you didn't ask for. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. When you're older, your emotional well-being should be your priority. You've lived through enough to know how precious your peace of mind is. No longer should you have to endure a toxic environment for the sake of family or friendship simply because it's expected or because you've always tolerated it in the past. The older you get, the more you realize that your happiness is not something to be sacrificed for others' drama. You deserve a space where the atmosphere is light, where people communicate with kindness, where disagreements are resolved peacefully and with understanding, not fought with harsh words and hurtful gossip. You deserve to be in homes that embrace you, that nurture your spirit, and that make you feel safe and loved. It's essential to guard your peace like a precious treasure. When you visit homes filled with drama, negativity, and constant conflict, it can feel like your soul is slowly being chipped away. Over time, those emotional scars build up, affecting your mental health, your relationships, and your sense of self-worth. No matter how much you love someone or care for them, you cannot allow their chaos to dictate your peace. Your peace of mind is invaluable. It's your foundation, your rock, the one thing that should be protected at all costs. So, make a conscious choice. Seek out environments that nourish you, that help you heal, and that allow you to breathe without feeling the weight of negativity hanging over you. Look for places where love and understanding replace judgment and gossip, where the energy is calm and uplifting instead of exhausting and draining. Life is too short to spend your precious time in a space that doesn't honor you. You deserve to be surrounded by positivity, support, and peace. Your emotional well-being, after all, is not just important, it's essential. Don't allow anyone to rob you of it. Take the steps you need to find the tranquility you deserve, whether that's limiting time in negative spaces or setting clear boundaries with those who refuse to bring peace into their lives. The older you get, the more you'll realize that peace is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. Number 3. The home where you are only needed, not valued. It's one of the most soul-crushing experiences you can go through, To feel as though you're only wanted for what you can do for someone else, not because you matter as a person. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where your presence is only requested when there's something to gain? It could be that someone needs you to babysit their kids, or maybe they ask you to help with endless chores that they don't have time for, or worse. Perhaps they reach out when they need money or assistance. But what happens when you need something? When your heart aches and you need a friend to talk to, a shoulder to lean on, or just someone to listen without judgment? The silence is deafening. Suddenly, they are nowhere to be found. You try reaching out, hoping for some emotional connection, but the phone stays silent. The messages go unread. The invitation for a conversation is ignored. It's painful, deeply painful, to realize that the only time you are ever acknowledged is when someone needs something from you. The worst part? They never seem to check in on you, never show concern for how you're doing or if you're okay. They never seem to notice the emptiness or exhaustion in your voice when you do find the courage to speak up. Your time, your effort, your kindness. They are treated as disposable, something to be used when it's convenient, then cast aside the moment the favor is fulfilled. The very essence of who you are seems to fade into the background, as though your worth is defined by what you can offer and nothing more. There's a quiet but steady sadness that lingers in your heart when you start to recognize this pattern. It's that sinking feeling that creeps in when you realize you're only needed in the way they see fit. It's disheartening to pour so much love, energy, and care into someone only to be left feeling like a tool, a resource that can be used and discarded at their will. Relationships should be built on mutual respect, not on an unbalanced, one-sided dynamic where only one person benefits. But in this situation, you feel like you're not a priority. You're an afterthought, a last resort when there's no one else left to turn to. The truth is, this type of relationship doesn't nourish your soul, it depletes it. It takes more than it gives, and in the process, it begins to erode your sense of self-worth. When you find yourself in these types of relationships, it's important to take a step back and evaluate what you're giving. Are you giving out of genuine love, or is it because you feel obligated? And more importantly, what are you receiving in return? It's a hard truth to swallow, but you deserve more than just being needed. You deserve to be valued, cherished, and loved for who you are, not just for what you can provide. The kindness, support, and loyalty you offer should be reciprocated in equal measure. If someone only calls when they want something but never asks about your well-being or even takes the time to acknowledge your struggles, then it's time to reassess the relationship. Don't let people take your time and energy for granted. Don't let your kindness be viewed as a tool for their convenience. It's not easy, but sometimes you have to set boundaries with those who consistently fail to appreciate you. You are not a resource to be used only in moments of need. You are a human being with your own emotions, dreams, and desires. You deserve to have relationships where both parties give and receive, where both feel heard, seen, and understood. When you start prioritizing your emotional well-being and stepping away from one-sided relationships, you open up the space for deeper, more meaningful connections. You deserve love and respect, not just when it's convenient for others, but all the time. Remember that your worth is not determined by your usefulness to others, but by the love, care, and strength you bring into the world. Number 4. The home that feels like a burden. Have you ever walked into someone's home and instantly felt like you were imposing on their space, their time, and their energy? It's that uncomfortable, suffocating feeling when you can almost hear their silent sighs or catch the way they glance at the clock every few minutes, hoping you'll take the hint and leave. Or maybe they keep shifting uncomfortably, making it clear that your presence, instead of being a joy, is more of a burden. It's disheartening, isn't it? A home, a space that should radiate warmth, comfort, and love, shouldn't make you feel like you're simply being tolerated at best. It should be a sanctuary for both the host and the guest, where there's a genuine exchange of time and affection, not this underlying sense of annoyance or impatience. If you ever find yourself feeling like your presence is a burden, please have the courage and the self-respect to step away. You don't deserve to feel like you're unwanted or unappreciated. You are not a nuisance, and you certainly shouldn't feel like you have to beg for someone's time, attention, or love. There's a painful truth in knowing that not all relationships are reciprocal, and it can be difficult to admit, but your worth is not defined by how much others are willing to give you. Your time is precious, and so is your emotional well-being. You have the right to choose where to invest your energy, and if someone makes you feel less than worthy of their company, it's okay to walk away. Respecting yourself enough to create space for those who genuinely value you is the most powerful form of self-love you can practice. Don't ever forget that. Number 5. The home where you are disrespected. Respect is not a privilege. It's a fundamental human need, a pillar that holds relationships together, especially in families. Unfortunately, too many homes have become places where disrespect thrives, where elders are belittled, dismissed, and made to feel invisible. It's heartbreaking when you find yourself in a space where your voice is never heard, your experiences are minimized, and your opinions are discarded like they don't matter. The sting of being interrupted mid-sentence, the coldness of being ignored, and the painful realization that you're treated as a nuisance, these are wounds that can cut deep into the soul. No one should ever have to endure such an environment, especially in the places that are supposed to offer warmth and comfort. It's a reminder that no matter how much love or sacrifice you've given, your worth should never be overlooked. If you find yourself in a situation where you're made to feel small, undervalued, or unappreciated, I urge you to walk away. You deserve so much more. Find those who listen with genuine care, those who respect your voice, and those who treasure the wisdom you bring with your years of experience. Life is too short to stay in spaces where you feel less than you are. Seek out the people who will lift you, who will honor your presence, and who will make you feel like you matter. That's where true peace and love reside. Number 6. The home that is toxic for your mental health. Certain places immediately feel like a weight on your shoulders as soon as you walk through the door. You can almost feel the negativity in the air, like a thick, oppressive fog that lingers around you, draining your energy with every passing moment. The energy in these spaces is undeniably tense, like a constant undercurrent of hostility or unspoken judgment. People within these environments may be cold, dismissive, or even outright unkind, leaving you feeling small and unimportant. It doesn't matter if the space is beautiful or well-kept. When the atmosphere is toxic, everything else fades into insignificance. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Your mental health should always be a top priority, just as much as your physical well-being. It's heartbreaking to realize that not every place or person you encounter will nurture you, and that's a painful truth to accept. If visiting someone's home consistently fills you with anxiety, sadness, or an overwhelming sense of stress, it's time to stop putting yourself through that emotional strain. I know it can be hard to let go of expectations or obligations, but remember, your emotional well-being is sacred. You deserve to be in spaces where you feel welcomed, loved, and truly appreciated for who you are. So, protect that peace. Don't allow yourself to return to toxic environments that only take from you, leaving you emotionally drained and depleted. Seek out places that lift you, where you can feel truly seen and valued. Your mental health depends on it, and it's worth every bit of effort to safeguard it. Number 7. The home that no longer aligns with your growth. As we grow older, something incredibly important starts to become clear. Our priorities shift. The things we once cherished, status, material possessions, fleeting pleasures, begin to fade into the background. What truly matters now is wisdom, tranquility, deep and meaningful conversations, and nurturing relationships that feed our souls. Yet, there are still many who remain stuck, trapped in patterns of negativity and unhealthy habits. They are mired in toxic behaviors, engage in shallow conversations, and remain in self-destructive cycles that only drag everyone else down. The unfortunate truth is that sometimes the very place we call home becomes a place that stifles our growth. If the environment you live in, the people around you, and the atmosphere you breathe in no longer align with the direction you want to take in life, it's time to step away. The worst mistake you can make is staying in a space where your spirit is crushed and your growth is impeded. It's time to choose environments, relationships, and experiences that uplift, inspire, and nourish the very core of your being. With every passing year, we learn profound truths about life that are often hidden beneath the surface. One of the hardest lessons is accepting that not every relationship, not every place, and not every connection is meant to last forever. Some places that once felt like sanctuaries for the soul may eventually become prisons. Some people who once filled us with love may now evoke feelings of resentment or emptiness. That house, that relationship, that group of people, sometimes they no longer welcome the person we've become. And that's okay. It's not a failure. It's simply growth. As we mature, we are taught that our time on this earth is precious, our peace is sacred, and our happiness is worth protecting. It becomes easier to understand that we don't have to hold on to every obligation, especially those that weigh us down or no longer serve us. It takes wisdom to let go and even more wisdom to do so gracefully. But when we do, we find ourselves standing tall in the freedom of our truth, unburdened by outdated attachments or expectations. Time, that most fleeting of treasures, is one of the most precious things we possess. We can spend it, waste it, or cherish it, but once it's gone, we can never get it back. Every moment spent in negativity, every minute invested in a toxic environment, is an opportunity lost, a moment that could have been filled with peace, joy, and growth. As we age, we realize that our time becomes even more precious. The last thing you need as you approach the later stages of life is to squander these golden hours in places or relationships that drain you. Choose wisely. Be mindful of where you invest your energy and which environments you inhabit. You have earned the right to prioritize your happiness and peace above all else. At the end of the day, you are not responsible for maintaining connections that do not serve your well-being. If someone, something, or someplace no longer contributes to your happiness, it is not your job to keep it alive out of obligation. Let it go. Step away without hesitation. Walking away is not an act of cruelty or abandonment. It's an act of profound self-respect. It's acknowledging that your soul deserves a peaceful, nurturing space to grow, and some things just no longer belong in that space. Don't let guilt chain you to the past. You are not selfish for choosing your well-being over old responsibilities. You have already given more than enough. Now, it is time to reclaim your peace, your joy, and your precious time. True happiness does not lie in empty interactions or forced social obligations. It resides in the quiet moments shared with those who truly see you, who love you unconditionally, and who bring light into your life. Life is far richer when we focus on the few authentic relationships that bring us real joy. Let go of the myth that you must keep everyone in your life or cater to every need around you. True joy is found in authentic connections, those who respect your boundaries, lift you, and love you for who you truly are. A life filled with genuine relationships is infinitely more fulfilling than one surrounded by countless shallow ones. The peace and happiness that flow from these authentic bonds are unparalleled and should be cherished above all else. The ultimate lesson, the one that becomes crystal clear as we age, is this: live for yourself, not for others. The freedom that comes with getting older is unlike any other. You are no longer bound by the expectations or pressures of the past. Not every invitation requires a yes. Not every phone call needs to be returned. Not every door needs to remain open. The beauty of growing older is having the wisdom and courage to choose where you spend your energy, who you allow into your world, and what you allow yourself to embrace. Don't let guilt, fear, or the weight of social pressure dictate your choices. Instead, choose peace. Choose happiness. Choose yourself. After all, in this journey of life, the only person who has the right to decide what's best for you is you. As we wrap up this powerful reflection on the importance of personal growth, peace, and authentic connections, I want to ask you, what have you learned from today's message? Take a moment to think about one key takeaway from this video. something that resonates with you and that you are ready to bring into practice in your life. Please leave your comment below and share with us how this message might impact your journey moving forward. I'd love to hear what steps you're taking toward creating more peace, joy, and authenticity in your life. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are here to support you every step of the way on your path to living a more fulfilled and meaningful life. Thank you for watching, and remember, you deserve to live in a way that nourishes your soul.